Okay, what I
specifically?
know,
What was
okay,
it written for?
it was written for spies specifically. So
Correct.
again,
Communists
so
within the United States. Correct. What did they
right.
have to
So
add to it in 1950 to charge?
what is the
Hold on,
language?
hold
What is
on.
the
What did they have to add to the Espionage Act in 1950 specifically so that they could charge officers? And
I
I'll
don't
give
know.
you a
What is
clue.
it? I
This
don't
is
know.
in
Just tell me.
Congressional Record
I don't know. Just tell me. I
15253.
don't know. Just tell me. I don't know.
They had to add the McCarran Act to the Espionage Act so that they could charge officers of the United States government under the
Great. So
Espionage Act.
what is the language
Because,
of
and
the
the reason for that, hold on, the reason for that is because of Alger Hiss and the Hiss-Chalmers papers and the
I understand
Hiss-Chalmers
that.
case.
What is the
They
language of
couldn't
the
even
Espionage
charge
Act?
them. They didn't. They couldn't even charge. I don't worry about the language. Hold on.
Well, MJ,
Just understand.
so
They
let's
couldn't
talk
even
about it. So
charge.
so
They couldn't
the
even
espionage
charge. Hold on. Let
the
me
late
finish. Just give me a second.
you're
I
monologuing,
know
bro.
the Espionage Act. I'm not
Okay,
monologuing. You're not listening.
I'm listening.
Okay.
You're monologuing.
Facts. You
They.
monologued before and he was trying to speak.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So
I
Yeah,
mean,
stay
it's
quiet,
just
bro.
been a
Let him
constant
and he
interruption
gave
at
you
this
Respect
point.
each other. Hey, 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 just respect each
it's
other. Don't
it's
try to
willful
cancel each other with your voices.
I
it's
know
willful
what the word
Legit,
says.
retention.
then
Willful
facts.
retention of
Let's
national
go.
defense information.
Right,
Why does it say
exactly.
national defense information? Do you even know that?
They're classified as NDI,
Why does it
SCI,
say national? Why doesn't it say classified information?
because it's national defense information. To be more
No,
specific,
but why does it not say classified information? Why does it not say things top secret, confidential? Why does it not say classified?
because it's an umbrella. All those things are put under the
That's
same
false
code of.
because it was
Okay,
written before you even had a presidential executive order telling you that you even had a classified system. So before the
okay,
classified system, everything was labeled as national defense
okay.
information.
This is
That's
an
what I'm trying
interesting.
to explain to you.
Okay, I understand, but
You
the
don't
argument here.
understand the
No,
Espionage Act.
I do, I do. And again, the charge is the documents that he willfully retained. So will
I
you
understand
agree?
that. You can't
Let me.
charge the president or a
Can I
former
finish?
president under the
Can I finish?
Espionage Act.
Can I finish? That's your opinion.
Go ahead.
Okay. So
Go ahead.
okay. So the documents. First of all, somebody made the claim earlier that the vice president can't declassify, and I can talk about that in a second. Um, the charges again: obstruction of justice and willful retention of national defense information, violation of the
Mhm.
Espionage Act. The reason that he was charged with that particular crime was because the obstruction of justice covered up willful retention of the NDI information.
That's
That's
the
the crime.
1512K charge. Stop going back to the
I'm
1512K
not
charge and
done.
address the
I'm not done.
18793E
I'm
charge.
not done. I'm not done. Your claim is,
You
I'd like
keep
you to
circling
show.
back.
No, you keep missing the question. Your claim is that a president cannot be charged with violation of the Espionage Act. I'd like you to provide.
Correct.
Okay, so and tell me where I can
I tried.
find.
I was in the middle of that while ago, and you would not let me finish.
I'd like a
Okay.
document. I'd like instead of your opinion, which is what you shared. I would like you to
Sure.
point me
I'm
to a
telling you
document.
what to look up. I'm telling you exactly where to go. Okay. Go look at the McCarran Act of 1950, and then tell me why the McCarran Act was added to the Espionage Act, and then tell me Senator Munn, as he put it on Congressional Record 15253, exactly why he said that they put it on there, and then tell me what happened with the Alger Hiss case and why they even couldn't charge them under the Espionage Act. Still did not even charge them under the Espionage Act because they were officers of the U.S. government. After the McCarran Act was added, they had to add that just so that they could even charge officers of the U.S. government, because when the Espionage Act was written, it was written for citizens.
MJ, I'm
Had
sorry,
nothing to
but
do with officers. Hold on. Had nothing to do with officers in there, in the Espionage Act. So they added the McCarran Act.
okay.
The
So
President of the
again,
United States, the former President of the United States, per the Constitution, is not an officer of the United States. The only statute you can charge a president with or a former president with when it comes to classified documents would be treason. That's it.
these are all your opinions, MJ. It's not rooted in any sort of historical precedent at all. This is all your opinion.
Well, hey, show me
Come on,
where
let me
any of
finish.
these
Let me finish.
cases is in precedent. Show me.
Right, that's
Show me.
exactly
You
the
made the
point.
claim. Exactly.
No, you
So
made the
again,
claim. No, you made the claim that a president can't be
I
charged with
was
this.
very
That's the
clear
claim that.
that this is my opinion. Okay,
No,
prove
these
me
are
wrong.
right. Okay, no, again, it's your opinion. I don't need to prove you
Prove me.
wrong.
Well,
No,
I just
my
made an
opinion,
argument. Prove my argument wrong.
because the documents that were found, I've said this before, the documents that were found were NDI information. Willful retention of national defense information is a violation of the Espionage Act. That's the
I understand that.
case. Okay, but
Yeah,
if you
and you can't
understand, I don't
charge
know
a
why,
president under the Espionage Act.
in your
Period.
opinion,
And I explain
in
why.
in in your opinion. That's your
So,
opinion.
so
You just said
argue
that.
that argument. Refute that argument. Tell me how
No,
you can, given the evidence I gave you, tell me how you can
that's
charge
not
the former
evidence. That's your
president with
opinion.
espionage.
That's your opinion. So again, it's not espionage. The Espionage Act.
So the McCarran Act is not evidence as
No,
to why
the
it was
McCarran
added
It's
Act.
to
not.
the
It's not
Espionage Act.
1953. It doesn't
Yes.
matter.
Again, so
It does matter.
No, MJ, the specifics here that I think it's an interesting argument that you're trying to make because you're coming in here. I think you have all this information, but the facts of the case are such that obstruction of justice in cover up of having willfully retaining national defense information. The possession of documents in and of itself, like I said earlier, if he had just turned them over, he never would have been charged because there were no documents to be charged with. Specifically, the documents that were found were tagged as NDI, SCI, top secret. Let me finish.
What if
NDI,
go ahead.
I'm still talking. SCI, top secret, classified. All those are government documents. Would you agree? Yes or no?
Sure.
Okay, so then he's in possession of government documents after leaving the White House. He lied about it. Attorneys signed an attestation statement. He wasn't charged with the 15 boxes he turned over. He was charged with everything else. Obstruction of justice
I understand that.
to cover up the fact that he had NDI. Okay?
Yeah, the 32 documents that were in his safe in his office is exactly what he was charged with. I understand.
Not just in his office, in the bathroom, in the ballroom.
That's false. That's not what the FBI says.
They were all over the floor. They were never locked up. They were never locked up. They were all over the floor. They have pictures.
You haven't
Not going all over the place.
Hold on. This is very clear.
Quiet, please.
So you make the claim. So you made the claim that the only documents that they found were in his office, MJ. So back that up.
Yeah, it's in the FBI report. The FOIA request that was released.
No, in the indictment. So the indictment.
No, it's not in the indictment. No, it's not in the indictment.
So in the indictment, they talked about the documents that they found in the ballroom and in the bathroom.
Correct.
Okay, so then they weren't just in his office.
So here's what I'm going to give you also. I can give you an established law where it says that you can't charge a president with the Espionage Act. Would that work? Citing Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2?
Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2.
Correct. Free Enterprise Fund versus Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, a 2010 case that actually cites Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2.
Advice and consent?
Yeah, go ahead and read the decision on it. It actually goes into detail and it talks about how you can't charge the president with the Espionage Act.
He shall have power by and with advice and consent of the Senate to make treaties, provide 2/3 of the senators present concur, and shall nominate and by and with the advice and consent of the Senate.
Tell me why this case is so important. I want to see if you know this. Tell me why this case is so important.
Shall appoint ambassadors, public ministers, and consuls, judges of the Supreme Court, and all other offices of the United States whose appointments are not here and otherwise provided for, which shall be established by law. That's Article Section 2, Clause 2. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so what's important about this case is, have you ever heard this case by any chance? Or has anybody ever brought this case up? Because you talk about the 15 boxes a lot that were sent back to NARA. That's the reason I'm asking.
What cases? What case?
The Free Enterprise Fund versus Public Company Accounting Oversight Board.
How does that apply to willful retention of national defense information?
Because you bring up the 15 boxes that were sent back to NARA. You brought that up about 10 times, correct?
Correct. That he turned over. Yep.
And you don't know about this case right here?
Tell me about it. Go ahead.
Do you know anything about the letter that was with those 15 boxes?
What was the letter that was with those? What letter? Where's your evidence that there was?
I'm blown away that you don't know about this.
I'm asking. Educate.
Okay, the one that goes to Kim Jong-un, the one that he wrote to Kim Jong-un.
No.
Hold on, Darren,
Those were the
Darren,
ones they requested.
Let MJ go with facts. Please.
So when the president sent those 15 boxes back, his attorney wrote a letter, and the letter actually stipulated and even said that, for anybody opening or reading these documents or looking through these boxes, this is everything in here is declassified, and here's my ability and why I have the ability to declassify.
Where's that letter? Where can I find that letter? Where can I find that letter?
It's not in the indictment. It's actually I can get the letter for you. I don't have it. But he cited 3 cases. They cited Navy versus Egan, Free Enterprise Fund versus Public Company Accounting Oversight, and then Melcher versus Federal Open Market Commission.
Cool. So again, the letter then justifies Donald Trump having additional boxes after ignoring a congressional ignoring
No,
a
it's just
DOJ
proving that
subpoena?
he had the ability. It's just proving that he had the ability to declassify everything that he had.
Okay, well, that's a claim that's not been proven though. So this is the issue that I'm having with your argument here is that you said because Donald Trump said he declassified everything, we're supposed to take that as at his word that he declassified everything.
Well, how can a president not declassify whatever he wants to, however he wants to? Explain that to me.
Well,
Could he have written an executive order? Hold on. Could he have written an executive order the day before he left office saying we no longer have classified documents? Yes or no?
Did he?
Could he? I'm asking, could he? Because the only thing you can behold, or the only thing that you can look at as far as the classified system, the only reason we have it is because of executive orders. The president doesn't have to follow his own executive orders. He doesn't even have to follow executive orders. So the governing body for classified documents through the executive branch is given by executive orders. How can you sit there?
True.
That's 100% true.
Well, no. So there are executive orders that address these things. Now, presidents can change them, but I guess your argument is really interesting. Is that your claim is without any evidence at all that every single document that was left behind, and you kind of skirted the issue. Your claim is that every single document that was left behind, because Trump told you that he declassified them, he had the ability to have them. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at PRA, and if you're looking at, again,
what does the PRA say about government?
What now?
No, but what does the PRA say about government documents?
Well, it says that the president and only the president has the ability to dictate what are personal and what are presidential, and as NARA is only supposed to take possession of what is left behind that the president deems as presidential records. Do you think that the president does not control his presidential records even after he leaves office?
No, NARA does.
That's false. So explain to me how Bill Clinton and George W. Bush can write letters to NARA telling NARA that certain documents within their presidential records are to be released to the public, and NARA can't say shit about it.
You're talking that NARA has, again, that's just the weakest argument. So again, the PRA specifically establishes that presidential records automatically transfer into the legal custody of the archivist as soon as the president leaves office. Establishes a process by which the president may restrict and the public may obtain access to these records after the president leaves office. Specifically, the PRA allows for public access to presidential records through the Freedom of Information Act, again, after they turn things over 5 years after the end of the administration. So again, your argument that it's the president who can determine whether he can keep them or not is absolutely fraud. That's absolutely wrong.
That's actually established law based on court cases. Law. Yeah, it is.
It's not established. No, it's
right
not.
Here, 2203B. The ruling was the PRA contains no provision obligating or even permitting the archivist to assume control over records that the president categorized or filed separately as personal records. At the conclusion of the president's term, archivist only assumes responsibility for the presidential records in which the president deems presidential and leaves behind.
Right, but again, tell me.
That's established law. That's established law.
You walked right into this one, bro. Again, national defense information. We agree that there was
so now we're back on classified documents.
No, we're not. We're talking.
Hold on, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
To declassify a document, because this is obviously what we're going around, is that solely for the president, or does that have to go through Congress through checks and balances?
Solely on the president.
There's no formal process that the president must follow in order to declassify. He can just say
that. These two men to go, please. Please don't interrupt these two gentlemen. I am learning a lot here.
She's asking a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Danny.
No, that was my question, because I'm trying to look it up here, and it's a little confusing as it's written out in like Section 8 and Executive Order 13526. Like, there's a whole lot of different things going on, but like the very beginning sentence says, classification regime exists as a means of safeguarding sensitive intelligence sources and methods. Like, so
let me explain this real simply.
Hold on.
I know what it says.
Okay.
Let her finish.
Go ahead.
Let her finish.
Go ahead.
I'm just asking because it's insinuating that Congress has the checks and balances on going through and making a process to declassify something. So is that correct? Because if that is correct, then the president does he have the authority to just be like, all right, this is declassified?
So here's the thing. All right, the executive order, all right, that's for subordinates. Okay. Now we have to understand that the president's executive power exists quite apart from any congressional grant. So Congress does have the ability to enact laws, and I'll give you some examples: the Atomic Energy Act and the Intelligence and Identities Act. Those were put in place for checks and balances. Okay, that's for subordinates. The president, and the only reason we have classified documents in a classified system is through executive orders. That's because president said, here, we're going to notate this way. And again, the president is the executive when it comes to.
That's not true. Agencies can determine if something's to be classified.
Okay, good point. Who dictates what agencies can and cannot declassify classified documents?
Classification authority. It's covered in the EO 13526.
Who exactly? Through the president, through an executive order, meaning who gives classification authority?
Well, the president and the vice president can.
The president.
The president and the vice president can.
The president. It all
the president
flows
and
through the president.
The president and the vice president.
Okay, you can throw the vice president in there all day long. All right, vice presidents don't write executive orders. The president does. So, we'll meet in the middle. The vice president. That's fine. The vice presidents are relevant for this argument. Again, it all flows through the presidential, the executive power within the president.
You're walking right into your point, MJ. I'm not sure if you even realize that.
No.
Okay, so again, the specifics around this case, and you can cite all you can.
Let's stick to this. Let's stick to this executive order. Okay.
Again, the meandering that you're taking to try to make your point, I think, is really, really interesting. The entire case boils down to the simple fact that he obstructed justice, and
I'm
the
not worried about
documents that
the
were
1512. You keep walking back to the 1512 case.
I'll walk back to whatever I want, man.
No,
you may not like it.
Prove to me that a president cannot declassify by whatever means he sees necessary. Show me an established law where it says he can't.
You're the one that made the claim that the president declassified everything because he said he did. You're the one that made that claim.
The executive order proves it.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
It does not. It does not.
How do you
It does not.
How can you say that a president can't when the classification authority comes directly from the president?
I didn't say a president can't.
Does classification authority come from the president? Yes or no?
MJ.
Classification authority come from the president? Yes or no?
MJ. That's not the issue. It's not a question of whether or not
you're going to go back to the 1512K obstruction.
No, I'm not.
Charge. I know.
No, I'm not. No,
All
I'm
right,
not.
Go ahead.
It's not. Somebody muted me. Why did the president, again, it's not a question of whether or not a president can or can't declassify. The claim that you made was that Donald Trump said he declassified everything. And I'm asking you.
Tell me where it says he can't.
I didn't say he couldn't. Again, let me finish my sentence before you interrupt me, okay?
All right.
I do not disagree with you that the president has broad powers to declassify. That doesn't mean that he did it. My question to you, and I'm asking you to prove to me, and when I asked you before, all you said was the president said that he did. Just because they have a power and it's not unlimited, the president cannot just declassify everything with his mind. There has to be a paper trail. There has to be a process. So what I'm asking you is, just because a president can doesn't mean that he did. I can drive my car 120 miles an hour if I want to. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get caught with something. So again, can you provide context to me that shows evidence that Donald Trump, in fact, declassified all the documents that he had?
Well, I understand what you're saying. Your issue seems to be a hang up on a paper trail, and that you have nothing saying that he did, other than him just making a claim that he did, right?
Well, your
Am I
claim
hearing that right?
No, it's your claim that said that. You're the one that said he said that he classified.
Yeah, that's all he has to do.
There needs to be a paper trail.
No, there doesn't.
Yes, there does.
There needs to be documentation.
Show me an established law where it says that a president has to show a paper trail to declassify anything. Go.
So, okay.
I've laid this out for 2 years. Since these allegations came up, I have challenged everybody. Please show me the process in which a president must follow to declassify information. You can't.
So in your mind, MJ, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this logically. Okay. So some of the documents that were found were top secret information. We can pick one. We'll call it XYZ. It was the plans for a new base on Mars. Okay, just follow along. So you're saying that the president in a vacuum can just imagine that this document is now classified, doesn't have to tell anybody, doesn't have to inform anybody, doesn't have to create a paper trail, could just decide on his own that this document is declassified. Is that the claim that you're making?
100%. Presidential authority. Hold on.
Do you see how ridiculous that sounds?
Hold on. I understand. Now, listen, I'm not arguing whether it's right or wrong. I'm just arguing
ridiculous,
law.
man. It's ridiculous.
You can say it's ridiculous all day long. However, presidential authority regarding classified material comes from the executive orders.
I'm not debating whether or not president
then you
can
have
or
to
can't.
concede.
No,
then
I'm
you
not
have to
conceding anything. No.
So
because again,
how do you hold a president accountable to his executive orders when the executive order itself draws the power from him? How?
Listen, bro. Listen.
Do presidents have to follow executive orders?
Again, the question is not whether or not
presidents have to follow executive orders.
The question is not whether or not a president.
You don't want to answer that one, do you?
I'm getting there. The president. It's not a question of whether or not the president has the authority to declassify. And this is what you haven't answered yet. Your comment is that Donald Trump did declassify, and I'm asking you to provide a resource that tells us that he declassified everything. I do not disagree with you. Like I said earlier, for the third time, I do not disagree with you that a president has broad powers to declassify.
Okay.
There
So
still
if
has
he
to be.
said-
Hold on, let me
if
finish.
he-
Let me just
Go ahead.
finish. So
Okay, go ahead.
again, specifically, but since you always tend to cite these examples, so I'm asking you to cite an example other than Donald Trump said he did, because we can play an audio that contradicts just that. In the audio, he said, when I was president, I could have declassified this. Now I can't, which means he was in possession of a document that was not declassified. I'm not debating whether or not a president has broad authority. What I'm saying to you is provide us a source and or evidence that says Donald Trump declassified all these information other than his words.
You can't dispute his words according to the executive order. That's what I'm saying. There is no process in established law that a president must follow to declassify documents, and you can't show me one.
I'm not. You're the one that made the claim, not me.
It all falls back on the executive order and the power of the executive. Hold on, let me finish. I'll let you finish. Let me finish. The power of the executive order. All right, it draws its power from the president. The president does not have to follow executive orders. Okay, you can't contest that there is a process in which a president must follow to declassify classified documents. If he says it's declassified, it's declassified. Declassified. You can't contest that, because here's the crazy thing, and this is what nobody wants to admit. We don't have classified documents if it wasn't for executive orders saying we have classified documents in a classification system. Meaning the president could also say, we no longer have classified documents or a classification system. He is the executive and the only person that dictates how things are classified and declassified, and he doesn't even have to follow his own rules.
So
I'm not
are you
arguing
saying
whether that's right or wrong, but
again, it's the same argument that you seem to be making. So I guess this is the part that I just don't think I hear you wanting to respond to. No one is disputing that a president has broad powers to declassify.
Did you just mute MJ? Did you just mute him?
I can't mute anybody. I'm not the host.
no, he didn't mute me. But I had an alarm. Go off.
Yeah. So again, no one is disputing whether or not a president has broad powers to declassify. Your only argument is that Trump said he did. That's your only argument. So I'm going to draw your attention to, this is a story from ABC. Prosecutors in former President Trump's classified documents case said in a court filing that a former Trump administration official told investigators that Trump, as president, had no standing declassification order regarding documents in his possessions. The filing, which are part of a special counsel Smith's response to a Trump legal team to compel discovery of this case, includes notes from prosecutors, interviews with former administration officials who the special counsel says refused to recordings of the interview.
Yeah,
the interview subject stated, hold on.
I know it. That's the article by Jack Date. I know that article. Absolutely.
Okay. So then that is evidence that there was no standing order. Your claim is that just Donald Trump said he did.
Absolutely. There doesn't have to be a standing order. You can't. Here's the thing. This will put it all to bed.
Man.
This will put it all to bed. This will solve the whole thing. Okay, I'm gonna lay the same challenge to you that I have to everybody else.
Okay.
Show me an established law, and I'll give you a month. Okay, it is July 9th. I'll give you August 9th. I'll give you 1 month to show me an established law where it says that the president must follow a process to declassify information. Go.
That's not the argument that I'm making.
Then,
This is the point.
if you agree and you concede that there is no process, then you cannot prove the means in which he has to follow to declassify, or he can't.
That is
declassify.
not the argument that I am making that you still have not answered. Okay, actually you have. So what you've stated, and we agree, the president has broad powers to declassify. There is a process; it's required. Agencies control it. Agencies.
Show me an established law.
I will in a second.
Show me an established law.
I will in a second. Hold on a second. Your only claim to this is that Donald Trump told you that he declassified it. There's nothing else for us to debate because that's your.
You can't
only
contest
claim.
that. You can't contest it, and you can't
And
show me an established law where it
confirm
says
it.
that he can't.
And you
Executive
can't
Order
confirm it.
13526. Where do executive orders draw their power from? The president.
You can't confirm that he did that.
Who
You're only
can do
taking his
away with
word for it.
executive orders? The president.
You
Who
can't-
tells
you
who
can't-
can and can't authorize classified information? The
you
president.
cannot confirm that
Facts.
he
The
did it. You only
confirmation
have his word.
is Donald Trump said it. He was the president of the United States. He said it. That's the confirmation. Now what?
That's all you
Okay.
need. You can't contest that.
So you're just going to take his word for it.
He's the
Absolutely. I
president.
have to. You can't contest it.
Okay.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
That's the power he has within the executive branch, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2, and the power that he has through executive order. You can't contest it.
So your claim is that everything that was
Meaning,
left
the
behind.
only thing you could charge a former president with would be treason. That's it.
Your claim is that all the documents that he violated the subpoena and still had in his possession were all declassified. That's your claim.
That's what he said.
Okay, that's your claim. So
That's
then
what he
why
said.
on
Absolutely,
audio?
I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, I
Okay, so
understand the
why on-
audio. Show me the document. Show me the document on the audio, and then
the
correlate
document's
it to the
irrelevant.
indictment.
The
No, it isn't.
document is.
No, it
My
isn't.
God, MJ. So in the audio, he says specific. Can I finish, please? In the
Sure, go
audio,
ahead.
he says specifically that when I was president, I could have declassified this. Now I can't.
What's the document?
So explain that to me.
What's the document? Show us the
You're
document.
gonna have to show me a document. We don't know what they
What's
were
the
looking at.
document you talking about? What's the document that he said?
Why does that
He was
matter?
talking about
it
a
has to show what
Hold
it
on,
is.
Darren. He was talking about a magazine. He wasn't talking about a fucking document. I guarantee you. Which document is it, Facts?
If it were a document, listen to this. If it were a document, okay, it would be listed and it would be correlated within the indictment as to specifically which document it was they were talking about.
The superseding indictment.
And not only that,
It's not in the superseding indictment either.
Hey,
Where's the
everybody,
people-
please, Facts is fair enough to be here with the opposition. Allow them to go at it without interruption, please.
I have a question real quick. So, Facts, if who was in the room with Donald Trump when he was showing that paper?
So there were
That
journalists
they
in there.
recorded it.
There were journalists in there. There were people that were going to be doing a story on Mark Meadows. I think it was part of his biography that they were writing. So those are the people that were there, and there were some Trump staffers in the room as well.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely. So they would have preview that what he was showing would be either a magazine or the classified information, correct?
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we just play the audio and then let people make up their own determination as to what's being said? How about that? Can we do that?
Well, it doesn't matter what the audio says because they
Why?
would use that in the court of law, and those witnesses that were there, they would be a witness of what was actually shown to them,
Right. So how do you know that?
and they would have to say that it was classified information.
Right, but how would you? But how would you know?
The document would be
why would you
specified in
assume?
the indictment, too.
Why would you assume that they wouldn't be on the witness list, though?
Oh, they may be.
No, I'm
The
not
document-
assuming. I'm
The
asking
document
you.
would still be specified in the
You have
indictment.
to have the specified document of which he had that he was showing that person.
Guys,
at that point,
guys,
showing
please let
exactly
MJ
that.
and Facts do this. They're both on their game. I'm listening to this. I'm learning here. Please, I'm making my own decisions.
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm not contesting the recording. I understand what the recording says.
What does it
But
say?
if you can't, do you want me to tell you word for word what
I
it
can
says?
play it. Can I just play it?
I know what it says. You don't have to
Well,
play
can
it
I
for
just
me.
play it?
I don't
I'm gonna ask
care what
Rocco.
you do,
Rocco,
but
this is your
again,
space. Can I play it?
I think the main thing is you would have to be able to correlate that to a specific document within the indictment, and you can't.
No,
Nor
that's
has
not the
anybody
question.
else
The
been able
question
to
is
do
whether
that
or not the
themselves.
documents were classified.
Listen,
So
Facts, that sounds
You don't
like
even
that.
know what document he was talking about.
it doesn't
Yes.
matter. The claim that you're making is that all the documents were
If
declassified.
they knew what document he was
Rocco, can I
talking
play
about,
can I play
it
the
would
audio?
be specified in the indictment, and it's
If
not.
it's okay with MJ, because I understand.
don't care.
Will
No,
Slaughter,
seriously, I
because
don't.
It's not correlating it to a specific document. Are you hearing him?
It doesn't have to. Rocco, again, the issue
MJ, do
specifically.
you
That's
want
a
to
big
hear this
piece of
audio,
evidence.
MJ? Do you want to hear the
Hold on.
audio?
I don't mind hearing the audio. I've already heard it, but I'm just going to say this: if in fact what's on the recording, okay, and let's just be logical for a minute. If they could correlate what was on the audio to a specific document, that would be charge number one, and they would have highlighted the shit out of that. Because the crazy thing is, they probably would have had him dead to rights then at that point.
Okay,
I
so
still have a
what-
hard time saying that they would get a conviction.
I understand, but,
But they
again,
could
I want to go
definitely-
back to but I want to go back to the claim that you've been making, MJ, and I'm going to play this in a second. The claim that you've been making is that Donald Trump declassified everything. He told
Which
you
is
he
why
did.
I don't believe they were looking at a document. And
Okay.
which is why I also believe that you
Of course
can't
not.
show a document that correlates in the indictment,
doesn't-
which is
it's-
why I believe it's not even in the indictment.
Okay, well,
Which
I
makes the audio a moot
I-
point, but you can
It
play it.
doesn't. It
MJ's
doesn't make
okay
it a
with
moot
that.
point, Rocco.
It
It
does.
doesn't because the claim was, again. Let's let people make up their own opinion. Let me just play it, and then people can make their own opinion as to what he said. Fair enough.
Fair enough, MJ?
Yeah, I don't care. That's fine with me.
You can dispute
showing
it.
information he
No, I'm
describes
not
as
gonna be-
secret,
Hold on.
Hang
Can I just
on.
play it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
saying he could no longer declassify it because he's no longer president.
This was done by the military, given to me.
ABC News obtaining the recording of a meeting at Trump's New Jersey golf club in July 2021. Trump discussing a document with people who did not have security clearance, saying it had been prepared by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley.
Well, with Milley, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came out. Look. This was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him. We looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. It's pages long.
Trump making it clear the information is sensitive.
It is like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. But look at this.
Special counsel's indictment includes a partial transcript of the recording. Trump recently insisted the papers he showed at the meeting were not classified.
That was not a document. I didn't have a document per se. There was nothing to declassify. These were newspaper stories, magazine stories, and articles.
But on the recording, he clearly describes the material as classified.
As president, I could have declassified it. Now I can't, but this is classified.
now we have a problem.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. It's so cool.
So again, I think people should be able to formulate.
Hey, why don't you
their own-
play the? Hold on. Why don't you play the
Angel,
whole? If
Angel,
you got
let him
the,
go. Let him go, Angel. Let him go.
I know lumberjacks.
He's
I wanna
about to
listen.
drown himself. Let him let him go.
All right.
So again, this is the audio. This is part of the case here. So I think we all heard that he was referring to a document that he had. And he said himself, you all heard it, that when I was president, I could have declassified this. Now I can't. So the argument that MJ is making is that we need to correlate this to a specific document. That's fine if that's your case. But my whole point in this entire thing is that the claim that you've made is that every document that he had been declassified. And he himself is stating that when I was president, I could have declassified this. Now I can't, which means it was still classified.
So let me say this. Let me just say one last thing.
Please.
Let me just say one last thing. All right, and then I'm gonna be done with this. So here's the thing. My claim is that, and I agree with what he said. He was given papers and documents from this writer who was writing the book, okay, and was going through all the information that they had been given by Milley. Do you agree with that?
He was showing people documents.
Hold
that he
on,
was,
no. He was talking. He was talking with the writer. The writer was talking with him about Milley's book. Okay, and they showed him
Mark Meadows' book, actually,
or Meadows' book, excuse me. And they were showing him documents. They were showing him newspaper clippings. He might have had newspaper clippings, whatever. If it's already in the media, Okay, that was his claim. It was, I mean, newspaper articles that have classified information in them. That's not
He
his
wasn't talking about
responsibility.
that. He was showing a document.
That's what he said. You can't correlate. That's the problem. You can't
Okay,
correlate
so
a document. Neither can Jack
Are
Smith
you really
correlate
going to
a single
argue?
document
Are
as
you
to
really
where
going to
it
argue
was.
that he wasn't showing a document? Instead, you're going to say it was magazines and or newspaper clippings?
But honestly,
I'm not
Facts,
even saying
why
that's
don't
what
they
it is.
have him dead
Why
to
did-
rights, sir? Why
That's
don't
why
they
didn't you
have him
correlate
dead
it?
to rights?
The case is
You
going to
can't
court,
correlate it
Rocco.
in the indictment.
The case
No,
is going to
that's-
court, Rocco.
But Facts, that's my argument. You can't correlate that recording to a specific document or documents.
That
in
doesn't.
the
That's not
indictment.
relevant at all, based on your
That is
own
very
argument.
relevant.
No, it's
That is
not.
very relevant.
No, it's not. Your argument. Your
Then you can't
argument
even
was,
prove that it was stuff that he had.
Wait a minute. How? So
You
he
can't even prove what he was looking at was even
Hold
in
on a
his
second.
that he had it.
Hold on. So he was showing.
You can't
Do I need to
prove
play it
that
again?
somebody handed him that stuff to look at. You can't prove that the publisher didn't bring that in with him or the writer.
Okay. Okay. So should I play it again so we can be clear as to what he said?
Just hold on. If in fact it was his, okay, and he was showing classified documents, it would be correlated in the indictment as to which documents it was that was being showed, and him saying that he couldn't declassify it or
How do
that
you
he
know it's
didn't
not?
declassify it.
How do you know it's not?
It's not in
Sorry,
the
it's my
indictment.
dog.
Please show me where it is.
Again, they're not specific with all the details of what every document is. You know
Oh
that.
yeah,
if you
they are.
read
You
it.
want me to read them to you?
But you don't know specifically. You know what the headers are. You know what it relates to.
I
You don't
understand,
know the
and
specifics.
I guarantee you, one of them would have had a big ass highlighted section that said, "This is the document in the recording."
Okay,
I
again,
guarantee you.
Okay, well
You
that's
know
your,
that
that's
too.
your no. I disagree, MJ. That's your opinion.
So facts. You played a chopped up video from a news outlet, right? Play
No,
the
she's recording.
audio. Hold on, the recording. Play the whole recording. You can't find it where he's just talking, right? To the people there at Bedminster. Like, play the whole thing. Don't play some chopped up shit to fit your narrative. Play the whole
It's got to be
audio.
tied to the specific document.
You don't need to. Guys, you don't need to play. His audio was absolutely positively perfect. Okay? So there is no concrete foundational information in that audio you played or the entirety of the audio. And the simple fact that if context is king, the simple fact that they're laughing, they realized that he was telling a joke. It baffles me that when we somebody knows when someone's joking, but for whatever reason, when it comes to Donald Trump, everything he says is factual and serious. But if you in your own audio, these people were laughing. If he was talking about something that was really super top secret, those people would not have been laughing. Listen to your own video over.
How do you know that? It's just a ridiculous.
Why?
I mean,
Who
even
jokes?
not even MJ would agree with that.
Who laughs about something like that? Because now, guess what happens? If it were indeed some secret document, every single person in that room is now implicated and on the take. They are going to get in trouble. Every single last one of them. It wouldn't be a joking matter. They were laughing and joking in your video.
How do you know that these people wouldn't be cooperating witnesses or be called to testify?
This is the big thing.
This is crazy.
The facts. This is the big thing. The big thing is it's not mentioned nor is it correlated in the indictment anywhere.
Doesn't have to be.
As to it needs to be.
No, you
Okay?
want it to be. It doesn't have to be.
It should be. I guarantee you, if Jack
Okay, you
Smith,
want it to be.
hold on,
You
if
want it
Jack
to be.
Smith,
First of all, you want it to be. You want it
hold
to be,
on.
and you don't
Hold
know
on,
if it
let
is
me
or
finish.
not. MJ, come on, just
Let me
stop being
finish.
real.
Jesus Christ,
Jack
dude.
Smith-
You have to talk. Shut up.
Hold on, Darren. If Jack Smith, as good as everybody claims he is, which I disagree, Jack Smith, you know damn good and well that he would have tied, okay, and correlated that discussion and those specific documents to the indictment. Now, the crazy thing is, because that would have had him. It would have been hard to defend that. The crazy thing is, even when you read the motions for discovery, even when you read the FOIA, all this information that has been released to the public, it is not even mentioned one time as to what documents those were, nor could they correlate those documents.
You keep going back to correlation again. The argument that you've made is that Trump declassified everything.
Take the L,
and
facts, and move on.
Sorry. No.
Let's just say this. If we're in a
please
court
finish.
of
I
law,
let you talk. I let you talk.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Respectfully,
specifically-
go ahead.
Okay, so specifically, you said that every single document that he had, he declassified, and you don't have any evidence to back that up, other than the fact that Trump said he did. There's an audio recording, Trump's own words saying that when I was president, I could have declassified this. Now I can't. So again, this is for people to make up their own mind. Obviously, MJ, you have a narrative and you don't believe Jack Smith is qualified. You have all these kinds of things in your own words. The only evidence that you have that all the documents were declassified was what Donald Trump told you.
Wait a minute.
So
you don't have any evidence of what was unclassified or classified. You don't know. You don't have any evidence of the documents that were talked about.
I'm not making the claim. MJ is.
We'll finish this right now. We'll finish this right now. Here's the thing. Facts. We're in a court. We're in court. Okay. Here's the thing. The executive order says, all right, and we understand the power of an executive order, meaning the president can declassify however he sees fit, unless you can show me an established law where it says otherwise, and it doesn't. Okay, that's one thing. Number two, you can't even prove to me which documents he was showing or being showed and correlate that in the indictment. That's the second thing. Those are the two big things you're going to have to be able to prove. And unfortunately, right now, it looks like the evidence is on my side backing up my claim.
I don't think it is at all. I think the evidence is actually on my side because there's an indictment and a superseding indictment. Can I finish, please?
Away, bro. No.
Can I finish?
You just repeat yourself over and over and over. Take the loss, dude. You lost. You haven't.
Darren, allow him to finish. Allow him to finish, please. Darren, allow him to finish, please.
Thank you. So I disagree. So you have an opinion, MJ, that you believe the evidence is on your side. Your only claim in defense of Donald Trump is that he said that he declassified everything.
Well, I've given you ample opportunity to show me an established law where it says otherwise.
It's irrelevant. Again, the argument that you're making is kind of silly because your only claim is that Trump told me they're all declassified, therefore they're declassified.
So
and
show
again,
me an established law where it says otherwise.
No one is contesting that a president has broad authority to declassify. The question is whether he did or not. There's Trump advisors, there's people in his administration that said there was no standing order. So again, you're the only one.
Show me the process.
Excuse me. You're the only one that has said that he told me they're all declassified. I provided audio. The information on there is very, very clear. You can make all these pivots that you guys want all the time. And I would like to also point out, do you really think everything in a prosecution is presented in an indictment? Don't you think they probably have a little bit more information that once this case goes to court?
Well, here's the thing. When you have to start defending indictments, that's usually when indictments
I'm not defending it. Who's defending an indictment?
So that's what you made the case that everything is in the indictment or that they don't put everything in an indictment, meaning that when you have to start defending indictments, that's when indictments
Our witness testimony in
So here's the thing. Again,
our witness testimony in an indictment?
Let's finish this right now.
Is a witness testimony in an indictment?
If you say that a president has broad ability to declassify, but yet you still think there is a process to prove that a president did declassify something, please show me that process. I will wait.
Cool. So here I'll give you another example. So we talk about that base on Mars. Are you claiming that the people, NASA,
don't pivot?
I'm not pivoting.
I'm still waiting on the process.
I'm answering your question.
Waiting on the process.
You're going off now, Facts. Be fair, brother.
I'm answering the question, Rocco. I'm answering the question. So since you used the word logic, let's use logic. I'll use your word. Would logic tell you that a space agency project on Mars, the president
logic would tell me there's a process somewhere that you keep claiming exists that I still haven't seen.
Is it your claim that the president can just declassify that and not tell anyone else? Is that your claim?
Again, you've already conceded to the executive power when it comes to classified documents. I'm waiting for you to show me an established law where it says that a president cannot declassified by whatever means he sees necessary and must follow a process.
I've never said that. I have never said that.
Then how can you prove
you're the
that
one
he didn't declassify? How can you prove that?
Again, MJ, you're the one.
No, what you just said, how can you prove? If you agree to that, then how can you prove that he didn't declassify everything? Go.
Because, again, the specifics of this case, like I've said a million times, the documents that were there were NDI information. You're the classified, top secret, some of our most secret information. You're the one. So
there should be a process out there.
You're the one that made the claim.
Follow this process.
You're the one that made the. You're the one that made the claim, MJ. You're the one that made the claim that Trump told you that he declassified everything. Let's talk about the Atomic Energy Act. I was thinking that myself. Let's talk about that one. Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah, Navy versus Egan. Let's go to that one then. That disputes the Atomic Energy Act, and it disputes the Intelligence and Identities Act, meaning that the presidential's authority exists quite apart from any congressional grant. Now, show me the process in which a president must follow to declassify information. Go.
The Atomic Energy Act. I'll use that one.
You can't use that one.
Okay.
Again, Navy
so he just told me to use
versus
the process,
Egan,
right?
Navy versus Egan, 1988. The president's authority to classify information exists quite apart from any congressional grant, meaning Congress can't overstep a president's authority with classified information. Show me the process in which a president must follow to declassify documents. Go.
MJ,
I'm waiting still.
So in your world, this is a ridiculous argument because in your world, again, I'm going to say this for the fifth time.
Reality, facts. It's reality.
No, it's not.
Correct.
Can I please finish? It's Danny and I against everybody else. Can I please finish?
Facts.
Can I please finish?
You got. Since you won't answer his question, will you answer this? Is the Atomic Energy Act in the case? Yes or no?
He asked me about a process.
No. Is the Atomic Energy Act in the case? You brought that up. Is it in the case? Yes or no?
I was responding to his question. The question wasn't posed to me
the
as
pivot
whether
is strong.
Yeah, let him go because he's digging. Now he's digging a hole. The audience
MJ
can
asked
see
me
this.
to provide him information specifically around the.
He's pivoting.
I'm not pivoting on anything.
He hasn't answered the damn thing, and
He can't do it.
He's asking.
I understand. Let him go, but let him go. Give him the courtesy to dig his own hole, please.
Okay. Specifically, if you want to hold on to the argument, MJ, without any evidence other than Donald Trump's words that he declassified everything, then I don't know what to tell you. If you feel like you need to take the win for, if you feel like you need to take the win for that, bro, then take the win. It's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
Donald Trump is going to
crazy.
come back and he's going to declassify more documents with his fucking mind again.
So here's the thing, right here, Navy versus Egan, 1988, and this is quoted. The president's authority to classify and control access to information bearing on national security flows primarily from the constitutional investment of power, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2, in the president. His powers exist quite apart from any explicit congressional grant, meaning you can't hold him to the intelligence and identity. And again, I've said it a million times, and I'm still waiting a million times.
Because again, your
the
argument,
process
bro,
that
listen.
a president must follow in established law to declassify classified information. I'm
not questioning whether or not a president has the ability to classify and declassify documents. My argument to you is your only evidence that he did this was that he told you he did
Supreme
it.
Court rulings and executive orders.
No, the only evidence that he did this is that he told you he did this.
Can you present evidence besides the audio?
I've actually got Supreme Court rulings and executive orders and understanding how executive orders work, and that a president does not even have to follow his own executive orders on my side.
Bro,
now what
again,
would give you a
Are we
leg
still
up?
ignoring the fact that Donald Trump said that he didn't declassify it? That he couldn't declassify it because he's not president
It doesn't
anymore?
matter because we don't know what that document is.
Yes,
so
you can't even
But
tell me
the
what
fact that he
document it is.
said that he didn't declassify it, that he had
It's not
from the
in the
president, that he
indictment.
took it from the
guys,
presidency,
we don't need
and
to
that he
cloud
didn't
this
declassify.
conversation up. Please don't let me mute you. Facts and MJ finish.
let me
Len,
ask this
in
question.
fact, you
Listen,
really
listen.
should answer MJ's question. You haven't answered his question yet.
Let me give
I
him
have
an
answered it,
admission
Rocco.
arguendo
This
for
is like
1
my
second.
answer.
Let me give you an admission arguendo for 1 second, okay? Let's just say that the president did have to follow a process concerning the Atomic Energy Act, all right, or the Intelligence and Identities Act. Do you know why they enacted the Intelligence and Identities Act? You know what that's for?
I didn't understand what you said, man. You said a lot of shit there.
Ordinance within the U.S. government as to a process in which they must go through to declassify information, okay, which they can be held to. And that's the Atomic Energy Act and the Intelligence and Identities Act. Now, the Atomic Energy Act, of course, it's everything to do with nuclear. The Intelligence and Identities Act is to protect, let's just say we have spies on foreign land or, some kind of black ops going on, and we don't want to release information so that these individuals can be identified. That is for their protection, meaning that the FBI can't declassify something that the NSA is a part of without going through the NSA so that they could redact whatever they wanted to redact, right? Now, if a president were to, let's just say, and again, your claim is that he has to go through this process.
Not my claim, bro. It's not my claim. It's not my claim. Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
So you agree with me then that you can't show?
No, don't speak for me. Let me be clear as to what my claim is. Okay.
Sure. Go
my
ahead.
claim is that the documents that they found were tagged as classified, top secret, SCI. That's my claim, that those documents were found there. Your claim is that those documents were declassified because Donald Trump said they were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
and
again,
I've actually given you evidence. I've given you Supreme Court rulings and executive
no,
orders
you've not
showing
given me
that-
evidence. No,
Sure.
you've not given.
Navy
No,
versus
you're giving me
Egan,
evidence.
1988,
No,
and
you're
Executive
not.
Order 13526.
You're
That's all you
giving me
need.
evidence of what the president can do. Okay? You have not given me evidence that Donald Trump declassified this other than him saying that he did. That's my entire point.
Again.
And with
you're
those
going
rulings,
through an
that's all you
executive
need.
Order. That's all you need.
That's all you need,
you're
bro.
gonna have
Are
to
you kidding
prove
me?
to me.
There's no process, facts.
You're
There's
gonna
no,
have
show
to-
us the
He
process.
he said he
This is
declassified it
why.
after he wasn't president.
This is why he's asking you to show him the process. Because if there is
it's
no
simple.
process, it's
Okay.
simply on the
Here's
president
one.
and
There's
the
a-
president alone.
Here's one. There's a process. There's a detailed process for declassification with rules laid out under executive orders. Typically, if a president wants to declassify
Under executive
something-
orders, there it
Can I
is.
finish, please?
Sure.
Typically, if a president wants to declassify something, he checks with the agency in charge, which has broad say in whether the information becomes public. If documents are classified, there's usually a painstaking process of blacking out what information still stays secret. It's not a question of concept being classified or boxes of documents. It's a word-by-word determination. The
Facts, what
declassification
EO is
order-
that?
Excuse me. The declassification
What EO is
order
that?
must be. The
What EO is that?
declassification- Let me finish. The declassification order must be memorialized, and any agencies that are affected have to be notified. The individual documents then have to be remarked to show they're no longer considered classified. This is dated.
So is that under the
September
that's under
23rd,
executive
2022.
order? That's under executive order. That's actually part of executive order 13526.
13526,
Yeah.
right?
Okay,
Yeah.
so but again,
now,
this is dated
hold
September
on.
23rd.
Does the
So-
president
Everybody
have to follow
hold on.
executive orders? Does a president have to follow executive orders?
This is dated 2022. So again,
Does a president have to follow executive orders? Yes or no?
no, because they can change them.
Exactly. So now,
So again,
the next
you're
argument.
not. You're MJ. I'm going to try to
I'm
make
not
this
arguing
really,
whether it's
really,
right or wrong. I'm not
Okay,
arguing
I'm trying
whether
to make
it's
this
right or
really
wrong.
simple. I just want to make this very, very clear. Very, very clear. You've cited Supreme Court. You've cited EOs. You cited what the president can do. Your only argument that Donald Trump declassified everything is that he told you he declassified everything. That's your argument.
Supported by Supreme Court rulings and EOs.
No, it's no. That does not support whether or not he did it. That just supports whether or not he can do it. There's a
Exactly.
difference.
And he claimed he did. You cannot prove, and here's the thing. I have claimed that he did. He claimed that he did. His claim is supported by EOs and Supreme Court rulings. Now it is on you to prove that there is, in fact, a process in which he must follow.
No, you made the claim that he did it because he told you he did it. That's your claim. That's your only claim. And you just believe him.
And you
And you
can't
believe
disprove that.
Well, it's not about me
if-
disproving it.
you have to.
That's not how it works. Burden
You
of proof is the
MJ,
person who makes the claim.
MJ, hold on, facts. One moment. I just have to say, MJ, I applaud your restraint. If you could bottle it and sell it, you would be a billionaire, sir.
What about me, Rocco?
But you're not practicing restraint. You're trying to silence him. You can't answer his question. You've deflected multiple
I've
times.
answered every question he's asked me, Rocco.
No, you
Everyone.
haven't.
Okay,
Hey,
answer
Rocco, I
this
have a
one.
question.
Answer
He
this
has.
one.
I have a
Show me an
question.
established law where it says that a president must follow a process to declassify information. Go.
That's again, that's not what we're
Answer
talking
the
about.
question. Answer the question.
He's not going to.
And, again, an established law. I'm going to say that. I'll say this one more time. I'll say it one more time. Okay, I'll say it one more time. I agree that a president has broad powers to declassify. I am not challenging that. I have never challenged that. All I am saying is that the claim that you made is that he declassified everything because he told you he
Yes.
did.
He's
That's
the
my claim.
president.
Okay,
So-
and that's no evidence.
I have a
just because
question,
believe
Rocco.
it.
Rocco, I have a question. I have a question.
Sir?
Are all of those branches that you keep bringing up that he has to go through, are they under the executive branch?
Better question. Ask him who in those agencies where they get their authority to even look at classified documents.
Well, that's exactly where I was going, because the NSA, the FBI, the DOJ, all of those things are under the executive branch. Who's the head of the executive branch?
At the time that Donald Trump claimed that he made he did declassify it,
I'm not
it was
talking
Joe
to
Biden.
you. I'm not.
He didn't declassify it while he was president.
I'm not talking to you.
I'll defer to Captain.
Who is the head of the executive branch?
President.
Since he's deferred to me,
okay, fantastic.
I'll go ahead and say this.
Wait.
It
Let
was
me
Joe
finish.
Biden.
Let me finish. I know you have impulse control issues. Let me finish. The president does, at any point in time, does the manager or the boss ever have to answer to his employees?
Yes, the answer to the citizens of the United States. That's where we
Senate,
vote for
we're
whether
talking about the
he
executive
goes in
branch.
office or not.
We're talking about the executive branch. Does the boss ever have to answer to his employees? No. The correct answer is no. So if Donald J. Trump at any given time under his presidency, I mean 11:59 on the 20th, or at the moment that the next president signs, he can do what he pleases, and he said he did it. You guys are hinging your whole entire argument off of an audio where no one but the people that were in the room saw what he was showing them. It could have been an adult magazine for all we know. You don't know.
Well, you're basing your entire argument on whether or not Donald Trump did this. So that's
it doesn't matter.
Hang on one second, Captain. I'll give you my time. American, you're basing your entire argument on Donald Trump telling you that he declassified
That's
everything.
all he has to do. You haven't answered MJ's question.
Who was the president?
Again,
he was
guys,
the president when he did it.
Again, him telling you. Okay,
That's
telling
all
you
that's
that he
needed.
did it does not mean that he
The
did it.
duly elected president of the United
all that's
States, sir.
needed.
You just have an issue with the particular man. This is
No,
the
I
problem.
don't. I don't have an issue with that. Him telling you he did it does not mean he did it.
Because if you bring up Joe Biden, they'll say he gave it back.
Does he need to put it in writing? Does he need to put it on a piece of toilet paper that he did it?
Hey LJ. Hey, when did he take those documents?
He took them before he left office.
So what? And when did those documents arrive to Mar-a-Lago? What date?
Before he left office.
18th.
Right, January 18th.
Yeah,
January 18th, right, where he was still the president, where he took it from the White House,
Yes.
which all he has to say at that point is what?
They're mine.
Declassified it. They're mine. I declassified them, right? So
Yes.
for Captain, it said Joe Biden was the president when he took those documents is a fucking lie.
Yeah, you were.
Did he walk into the White House after Joe Biden took?
That is not what I said.
You said Joe Biden was president when he declassified it.
You said when he the question was when did he declassify those?
And you said Joe
he
would
take those.
It was
No.
when
The
he
question
took
was,
the
when did he
documents from the White
declassify?
House. When he took the documents from the White House is what
So
what
you have
Donald Trump is
paperwork.
stating.
All right, you guys gotta
Do you
talk
need
one
show
at
us
a
the
That he
process?
declassified
That's the point.
Hey, you guys gotta
angels.
talk one at a time, please.
Hey, MJ, I appreciate you. Rocco, I
Especially for the
appreciate
people in
you.
the comments.
Stacy, Danger, Angel, everybody, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one. Good luck with
You too, honey.
cognitive
Please
dissonant
follow
individuals.
American Lumberjack. Great creator, great American patriot. Please follow the Lumberjack.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.